All right, last example for this lesson. There are more examples on the notes which will be attached to this assignment. So if you need more help, please go through those notes and look at those. Y equals 1/3 x squared. Once again, we have a fractional leading coefficient. It's positive, so we know it's going to be going upwards. But now we have to be careful with the points that we pick because we'll want to pick points that when we square them are still divisible by 3. Because we'll have to multiply it by 1/3. And when I think numbers are divisible by 3, the smallest ones I can use if I go to both sides of the y-axis would be -6, -3, 0, 3, and 6. And I know I've said this before. Do we have to pick those numbers? No. You are fully in charge of the numbers you pick. But why make it harder than we have to? We picked 5 here. We'd have 25. Taking 1/3 of 25. Is it possible? Yes. Why do if we don't have to? So now I am going to plug those values back into my equation. So I'd be left with y equals 1/3. If I use my first one, -6 squared. That's be 1/3 times 36, which would equal 12. So my first point would be -6, 12. Time to do -3. So once again, I'd multiply it by 1/3 after I square it. So it'd be 1/3 times 9, which would equal 3. So I have a point of -3, +3. Plug in my 0. Well, hopefully we can see that 0 squared would be 0, and 0 to the multiplied by 1/3 would be 0. So that will be my vertex. Keep it symmetrical down the bottom. So I would have points of -6, +12, which would be right there. I would have a point of -3, +3, a point of 0, 0, a point of 3, 3, right there, and a point of 6, 12, which would be right there. And draw my nice U-shaped graph. And there is my parabola. And as I stated previously in the earlier videos, the greater your coefficient is, the more steep it'll be, either upwards or downwards. And the smaller, the less your leading coefficient is, the more flatter your curve will be. So if you notice this 1/3, it's kind of like this. If I went to like 1/8, it'd be even further flatter out. So as you graph these, kind of double check that your coefficient matches the graph that it has the look you would expect. It has a positive leading coefficient, so we know it should be an upward shaped U. It has a vertex of 0, 0. And if you notice, this does not have a B term, or it does have a B term, but it also doesn't have a C term. And remember that C term shifts it up and down, whereas that B term shifts it left to right. So